too!
Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into a session of Dislyte. Now, Dislyte is a game that I've been wanting to play for quite a while now, and thankfully, the developers over there have reached out and are actually sponsoring this video. So today, we're going to be checking out the latest major update to the game, which introduced two new espers, Athena and Nyx. During this limited time event, you can learn more about Athena and Nyx and their background stories. In fact, you can also venture into a new labyrinth map and explore with Athena herself. You can play through the story, accept challenges, complete missions, and cash in on some fantastic rewards in the event shop, even a limited time character. Now, to get Athena and Nyx, you can summon in the Gold Summon banner. For every Epic Esper, you will obtain 1 Wish Stone, and for every Legendary Esper, you'll obtain 20 Wish Stones. Exchanging 100 Wish Stones guarantees a copy of Athena or Nyx. Let's jump into a temple so you can see these summon animations. Now, I love the musical theme that goes on throughout the game. As you can see, we're going to be spinning this little disc here, and we're dropping the beat. We're going to get a 5-star on our first multi-pull. Now, I absolutely love the aesthetic of Dislyte, right? As it has a really trendy, futuristic design, as you can see by the background and everything. Oh, and the characters appear one after the other. That's so cool. As you can see here, they actually have many references to some Greek, Chinese, North, and Egyptian mythology. Egyptian is actually my absolute favorite one. And oh my gosh, look at that. Even the 3 stars look absolutely sick with their animations. You're gonna get a 4-star. And, oh, he actually looks pretty cool too. Alright, but yeah, that 5-star we just got earlier, she looks stunning, and pretty evil, but yeah, wow, look at that Embla. Love it, love it, love it. So once you get enough Wish Stones, you can go ahead and redeem a copy of Athena or Nyx. I'm going to go ahead and redeem a copy of Athena right here because I already got a copy of Nyx earlier. And so let's drop the beat for this one. And there we go, another gold spark here. And we're gonna see that absolutely sick animation from Athena play out. Just look at it. With her shields and her spear. Oh god. She's definitely my favorite character in the game by far. Alright, now that we have Athena and Nyx, let's take a look at their skills. Alright, so let's take a look at Athena and all 3 of her skills. Let's start with skill number 1, which is her basic attack, Forward Strike. It attacks one enemy, deals 100% of her attack as damage, and she inflicts Sear for 2 turns, and decreases the enemy's action points by 15%. The action points is kind of like your turn meter bar at the bottom of your screen in combat, so she pushes them back by 15%, which is pretty good. And Sear is also a debuff that makes it so the enemy takes 25% more damage when attacked. She also has an amazing passive where at the start of combat it resets all of her ability cooldown. So if you're fighting maps with multiple waves of mobs and then you clear them out and you start a new one, it resets all of her abilities including her S2 and S3. Alright, so now let's take a look at her skill 2, which is Dawn Guardian. Dawn Guardian grants standoff to all allies below 50% health for 2 turns. She also grants standoff to all remaining allies for 1 turn, so those could be people that are above that 50% health threshold. Standoff allows those units to retain at least 1 HP point value while the buff is active, essentially acting as like an immortality buff, keeping everybody alive. She still attacks one enemy with the skill and it grants 150% of her attack value as damage. Now, each surviving ally, excluding herself, actually gets a 10% damage bonus, and before casting this ability, she actually grants herself War Goddess for 1 turn. And if Athena already has this buff, then it increases the duration by an additional turn. Alright, now let's take a look at her skill 3, which introduces this War Goddess ability. So her skill 3 is called Daylight Beam, and it grants invincibility and attack up to herself for 2 turns. And then it dispels all buffs on a selected enemy, which can't be resisted by the way, and inflicts a crit rate down for 3 turns and deals damage. The damage is going to be 50% of her attack stat, but then she inflicts crit rate down on all enemies for 2 turns and deals additional damage. That damage is going to be 100% of her attack stat. The crit rate down cannot be resisted if she crits. And before casting this ability, she also gains War Goddess for 1 turn, and if Nyx or Elaine is on Athena's team, and under the Night Goddess status, Athena actually gains War Goddess for 2 turns instead, and if she already has this buff, then the duration is increased by an additional turn. The final damage of this skill is also increased by 10%. And her passive is that at the start of combat, if Nyx is an enemy, Athena actually gains Dawn Glow. So Dawn Glow is actually not dispellable, it grants her some additional crit damage, and she will never miss when she attacks Nyx. The War Goddess ability, which is the bread and butter of her kit, is undispellable, and when her crit rate is equal to or greater than the target's, it amplifies her damage, which synergizes really well with her crit rate down. The greater the crit rate gap, the more damage is applied, and also grants allies shield for 1 turn right before they take a critical hit, and the shield strength is based on her attack stat. Okay, so now let's take a look at Nyx's skills. She also has 3 abilities right here, starting with her skill number 1. She'll attack 1 enemy, dealing 90% of her attack stat as damage, and then she inflicts sleep for 1 turn. While she is stealth, she deals extra damage, and that extra damage is going to be 15% of her attack stat. Now her passive here is that Elaine's attacks won't interrupt sleep effects, and they have a 50% chance of ignoring 25% of the opponent's defense when attacking enemies that are asleep. That's really good. Now, the stealth ability means that she cannot be targeted by enemy attacks, although she can still be hit by AoEs. Alright, now for her skill number 2, it's called Oblivion Strike. It attacks 1 enemy 5 times, and every single time that they are attacked, they take damage equal to 34% of Nyx's attack stat. Each debuff on the enemy grants an additional 5% damage, and each hit steals 1 of the buffs that are applied to the enemy, while inflicting attack down and sleep for 2 turns. Alright, and now let's go ahead and take a look at Nyx's skill 3, Endless Night, where if you use this skill, Nyx gains Night Goddess for 2 turns. She also clears all enemy stealth effects, which cannot miss and can't be resisted, and she attacks 1 enemy 5 times. The damage per hit is going to be 48% of her attack stat, with each hit inflicting sleep and buff block for 2 turns. If Athena is on Nyx's team and under the War Goddess status, then Nyx's Night Goddess duration is actually increased by another turn. Her passive ability is at the start of combat. If Athena is an enemy, Nyx actually gains Dusk Glow. So Dusk Glow is actually undispellable, and it grants herself 5% crit damage, kind of like what Athena does, and Nyx's attacks against Athena can't be resisted. The Night Goddess ability here actually grants Nyx stealth for 1 turn at the end of her turn, which means as long as you have the Night Goddess buff, you will continuously be able to enter stealth. She also transfers 1 debuff from each ally to the target upon a crit, which is really nice because it helps cleanse your team while crippling the opponent, and this can trigger once per turn. And the enemy miss rate is actually going to be increased by 10%, which helps your team's survivability. Alright, now that we have an idea of what Athena and Nyx can do, let's try them out in combat. Combat in Dislyte is turn-based and includes both PvE and PvP modes. The game has your standard element triangle and a neutral shimmer element, so you can create your team to have advantages or disadvantages against your opponents. Now, team building is actually quite important in the game, so let's see the synergy between Athena and Nyx in this one. Now, what we have here is a resource grind. You actually farm for equipment in this battle. So we're going to be taking on the boss Kronos. And let's see what Athena and Nyx can do together in combat, right? So right here we have Athena casting her Night Goddess ability. As you can see, it grants her stealth. Now, if I use Athena's skill here, the Daylight Beam, not only can she help clear out this wave of opponents, oh look at that damage, but look at that, she also gains the War Goddess for additional turns, which is quite nice. Now, of course, the buffs wear off between waves, but Athena here, as you can see, has her skill cooldown reset because of her passive and because we entered a new wave. So let's go ahead and use her skill 3. Unfortunately, it didn't finish off the third person, but let's go ahead and use our Falconer to try to finish him off here. Alright, and there we go. We should be able to finish him off with the other 3 support units I have in the back. And here comes the boss. So the animations for these boss monsters are sick. Look at that. That's actually amazing. Yeah, this is the highest level difficulty I can do in terms of fighting Kronos. And this guy has a lot of AoE attacks. So unfortunately here, our Nyx, she's going to be able to get hit even if she is stealth. But look at that S2 dealing a lot of damage here. Athena going to be popping her skill 3. There we go, very nice. And put the debuffs on the Kronos. What I can do now is use my Falconer with his S3. So Falconer actually has this debuff called the Eye of Horus, and any damage that the boss now takes before the end of the buff duration, it'll deal true damage to the boss after the debuff wears off. Alright, so now the boss's turn. A bunch of AoE, but you can see Athena there with her invincibility is quite nice. Alright, now we have Nyx. Okay, so Athena has her War Goddess for a turn. We can pop Nyx's skill 3, gaining Night Goddess for a turn. Look at that, dealing quite a bit of damage there. And so now let's use Athena's skill 2. It grants standoff to the team, but it also deals a tremendous amount of damage there. Nice little crit. And we're able to finish the boss off. Alright, so that does it for taking a look at the combat here in Dislyte. That is gonna be it for this video, guys. If you are interested in playing Dislyte, I highly recommend you get the game using my link in the description or in the pinned comments down below. Check it out, and when you do, make sure to pull for Athena. You've seen how amazing she is. And Nyx as well. Get both of them because they synergize so well together. So to help give you guys a jump start with your accounts, make sure to use the promo code Dusk and Dawn to get massive rewards when you enter the game. And also an additional promo code for you guys, just because I love you all. Markiplier in Dislyte, because yeah, he's actually doing a little collaboration with the game as well, making a little cameo, and that code will also get you some nice goodies. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more daily uploads. And until next time, take care.